Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own soul.
Welcome back to On the Move with Reco Hill. Today we have On the Move. So today this is not an interview. We said it's like a PSA, but not really, because we're not really announcing anything. But this is just me. And I told y'all he's not white, so I better not catch you saying that shit. It's the way that this is beaming off of his skin. It appears that way. Me and my good friend
Elijah.
What am I then? I don't know. You're like I don't know, man. I don't know. He's just a good friend of mine, slash business partner, slash. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff anyway. We just conversate. Yeah. But today will be more serious. We're gonna just discuss more or less about what's going on in the present time, and we're gonna throw some hot questions at each other. And this is just to pick each other's brains. This isn't for y'all to think that he's racist or think I'm racist. Mm-hmm. This is just to pick each other's brains, because we do this literally on a regular. How did you feel about the George Floyd incident itself?
As the whole incident?
You seen it?
So I like when stuff like this happens, I don't really like look into all the stuff coming out, because I feel like immediately, you know what I mean? I'm like not on social media. I don't look at the news a lot. I hear a lot of like word of mouth. Yeah. So I know what's going on in a general sense, but I don't look into like all the facts and whatnot until it's kind of like past, until everyone's emotions have kind of like at least calmed down. I'm not saying that they're like done, you know what I mean? Because certainly, you know, there's always going to be emotions about these kinds of things, but I like waiting a little bit until I see, you know, organizations going into this and being like, here's what really happened, regardless of opinion, before I start making my own. There's certain truths though that you can't deny in a situation like this. So I mean, this is like one frustration after another beyond that. So that's, I think there's a lot of confusion, but that begets frustration, and I think that's where all of us are at, regardless of our opinions. Yeah. So I'm frustrated.
I'm still trying to identify. I'm happy it happened, not his death, but I'm trying to identify why this one sparked even more than Trayvon Martin. This sparked crazy. I wonder why this one specifically, like.
I think it's because of quarantine. I think that like it was just all of the circumstance. It was just like everyone's cooped up, everyone's already angry. It's spring, summertime, so people are already got that energy about them. So it's like on top of people being cooped up and the sun coming back out, now you got something that people, quite literally, that it's causing a riot. So it's like you got all that energy. I think this was just like, it was, I don't want to say perfect storm, but it was in the sense for all the energy to be geared towards like this being the one that really caused the uproar. Yeah. Not that the other ones didn't. Yeah. But
because they did, but this one was like,
this is different. Like people are protesting all over the world.
Like when I seen Springfield, I was like, whoa. Because I literally told everybody, I was like, you know, Springfield. I'm like, hey, it's gonna be a little something. You know, we're gonna have a couple people say something, but I never was expecting to wake up and see what I seen. Right. That was like I was coming out Jefferson, and it was people with signs. Like it was the first time I ever seen my city like. Right. It was like, whoa, like, yeah, it was crazy. But in the meantime, while we're still while we're going to search for questions that I promised you guys that we would, and we'll give you a shout out if we say your name wrong, because most of y'all don't even have your government name on Facebook.
We're going to use whatever Facebook name they have.
Do not get mad, because we gonna just call it whatever it is. Do you feel like this is going to be permanently bringing people together? You feel like it's going to scare you off after everything blows over? We're just going to go back to regular?
It definitely won't permanently do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? If we've learned anything about humans, they won't.
Fickle.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people that are like consistently, I mean, life is constants and variables, so you're going to have people that are consistent, people that are variables that you don't really, there's a lot of people doing this riding a wave, and there's some people that are in the water regardless of the storm, so it's like, it just kind of depends. Definitely don't think it's permanently where it's at, like the momentum's going to go away until something else happens. Probably something bad, you know what I mean? That's usually when you get no one talks about good times. You don't realize a good time until a bad one happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that this is like nothing about this is permanent.
Yeah.
Now I hope that the like reaction and like the just efforts that are going towards bettering the lives of everyone, really, I hope that grows. Yeah. I don't think that we can say anything about that's permanent though.
Yeah. All right, so I got most skills. He said, "Why are black folks concerned about stores that they don't even hire, that won't even hire them?" I'll answer, then you can answer. Well, it's kind of easy for me. For one, if you know anything about America, America runs off of finances. So I don't know. I don't loot. I'm not into that. I'm an adult. I'm not going to loot. I'm not into that. But I would assume that let's say your average Walmart is bringing in $50 million a year, I guess, whatever you want to say. If you go in there and you burn that building down, that city is now losing money, which that city losing money, the whole I think that's how it works. The whole government itself loses some type of money. I don't know how all that stuff works, but I know if you burn down enough stuff, that's money being lost. That's one thing. I don't give if you're a millionaire. That's a way that you piss a person off by messing with their money.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're poor and you just getting by. Motherfucker fuck with $20, you ready to pop the fuck off. So that does a lot. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with it, but then again, I can't tell someone how to be mad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm black. I can't tell another black person, that's not how you get your frustration off. I can't tell them that. I can advise them to do it a different way, but if they go loot, I can't be mad if they go and loot. I can't. It's just like if somebody die in your family and you go off in a fucking rage, can't nobody tell you this is the correct way to mourn. As much as they want to tell you the correct way to do it, they can tell you the correct way, but you're going to go about it however you want to. So I'm guessing kind of that's where the whole looting and burning shit down and shit come from.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Can you say the question again?
It was,
just so I'm not mistaken.
It was why are they so concerned about, why are black folks concerned about stores that won't even hire them?
Yeah.
And they're talking about, like, I guess, how other black people are telling them, hey, don't loot them stores.
Right.
And things of that nature.
Yeah. Obviously, with that question, I can't really answer that, you know?
Yeah. Well, we ain't gonna, for you ain't got to say black folks, for just looters, period. Like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like, just talking about like looting in general and like going back to the Walmart example, it makes me think, and I don't know how all the bureaucracy and finances of that works. So it's like it's going to be based store to store. So if you're looting like a corporation, like I really feel like you're the only one losing because now you're that perception of who you are. Like say you get caught in the act, whatever you look like is now like being ingrained in that law enforcement's eyes, saying this is the kind of person that loots.
Yeah.
Now, you might not be, the person looting might not be an accurate representation of the rest of a community that is
or
being
even
blamed or themselves. Like, but regardless, human beings, like we're visual and we're very emotional. So you see something and you make an association. So if you see someone and you generalize that human being and you see them doing something that you deem like just not good, you're gonna start associating like pretty much similar types of people visually, like based off a glance. You're going to associate them regardless of if you've even met them or anything like that. That's just like, that's why we have stereotypes. And stereotypes are like, they're stereotypes because we've seen such a generalization over and over and over again that we've now like now we have this perception of someone because of that, whether or not, and every individual is totally entitled to be different, but stereotype comes from just seeing something over and over again, or your perception of something happening over and over again. But yeah, I think about like a place like Walmart being looted, and I feel like all that does is make things more expensive and harder for the people that needed that store as a utility, because now Walmart's not going to lose. Like, you looted their place, they got insurance. They even if they didn't, like, Walmart's not going away anytime soon. So,
they never go away.
They're not hurting. Target, I saw that Target came out and said, like, yeah, we're down with the looting, go for it. Like, they're like, if you want, we can rebuild, do what you got to do, like, more or less. I mean, I didn't do tons of research on that, but I mean, heard that a couple times, so I thought that was pretty wild. But I get it, because Target's like, whatever, it's beneficial for them to say, yeah, we're down with whatever, we'd rather not put up the fight because we can rebuild, and then take the political brownie point for it. But I feel like we're hurting ourselves, because as you're destroying things, you're making the supply of those things go lower, which means the demand goes higher for those things, which means the price goes higher. So when everyone's done looting and rioting and destroying, things would inherently become more expensive, which only hurts the consumer, which is the same people looting and rioting. So it's like, you got to think about longevity. I get the almost the cry for attention, like, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to burn this place down kind of attitude. I get that angst.
Yeah, me too.
I understand that. Regardless of why you did it, I understand that. I just don't know if it's the best way.
Yeah, me neither. I think I don't know, man, cause I'm in a whirlwind with it. Just because I know what my people have been through, so it's like I fully understand the frustration, but at the same time, you gotta look at it. Man, that shit don't mean nothing to them. It don't mean a fucking thing. You gonna burn something down, and then now your woman or your kid need diapers, and you don't have it because you looted the shit, or somebody looted it.
Now they're closed.
They're shut down, they burnt down everything, and now on the streets they're selling diapers for $40 now.
Right, and then you would get pissed if you looted that stuff that you were selling, and then someone came and stole it from you. Yeah. You would get mad, like. Yeah. So.
I'm definitely not with looting, but I do fully understand the frustration, and when you feel like you've done everything to even be peaceful, eventually people start getting very ignorant, and I get it, but we got to find other ways besides. I don't care if people just go and just surround the White House.
Yeah. And you can put a lot of fear in people with kindness.
Yeah, if you went to the White House and y'all just sit and y'all camp outside for Jordans, imagine if y'all did it outside the White House. All races and colors. Everybody. If all y'all did that, that'd probably do more than you burning down your Target, because even if y'all did that and you get hungry while you're camping out, you can go walk up the street, go get you something from Walmart, and go sit right back down.
Yeah.
So.
And even to add on that, from like, being around tons of white people all the time that are very like, they think they have this idea of what politics should be like. I hear all of them talking about like, oh, like they keep rioting. They're basically using the looting and the rioting as like ammo, saying this is why we don't let you guys blah blah blah. And that's where the racism starts coming in. It's because they see that. I mean, obviously the racism comes from all different angles, but that's a specific area where I feel like white people take advantage of. What's happening is, we've talked about this a couple times. Fire truck passing us by.
What are you even doing over here? E9. Wouldn't that be dope if he transformed into like a fucking
transformer?
He just stood up on top. Yeah. What you say?
I feel like, especially the middle-aged white people I'm around, they'll look at a news headline of like a protest, and they'll be like, see, it wasn't a peaceful protest because they're looting and doing this and that, when really that was a separate group of people. But now all of a sudden the headline said that, peaceful protesters turned into an aggressive mob, and then you just ruined and diminished an entire good act and good effort because now you got all this now you have this aggression and violence, which is what we're trying to stop at the end of the day, is the violence.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's if we weren't so aggressive and so, like, if we didn't have all of that angst,
Yeah.
like, even, and then I feel like we're making it us versus them, regardless of where you stand. And I feel like whenever you do that, that means war. Like, inevitably, like, it can be, like, petty at first, but, you know, how many times is, like, gang violence, you know, started from, like, $20 worth of something, and then generations go on, they don't even know why they're fighting anymore. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like, you just never know why something even started, and then if you pass it on through a generation, then they really have no idea why. Yeah. But it's like, it's in their blood now. Like, all of a sudden, it's just like they were raised this way.
You're a white guy in a black industry. Do you feel like you earned your spot, or do you feel like you're a guest?
Oh, I'm a guest. Yeah, I'm a guest. I also don't know what earning a spot would mean.
Or not earn your spot, but like if I feel like if someone comes into a community and they're helped uplifted by doing good work for them and not looking down upon them or even overtaxing them because you go into a certain community.
I'm definitely not taking advantage of, you know, like the. I mean, and to say that. So, I mean, the question, can you read the question again?
That was just for me.
Oh, that was from you? Gotcha. Yeah, definitely, like, because I don't make most of my money in doing, like, music videos for rappers who are more often than not black, even though it is, like, something I really enjoy. Like, I love hip-hop, I love rap, like, and I like my own stuff. It's not to say that, like, I'm into all of it, because that would be crazy. But there's a lot of it that I like, a lot of it that I grew up on, a lot of it that has inspired me as a musician, like on the music that I work on behind the scenes. And I've made some of my best friends, like, in the world of hip-hop. So, and honestly, I owe it a huge, like, thank you for even pushing me as a filmmaker, because I wouldn't be as good as I am without doing the videos I've done in the hip-hop community. So yeah, certainly. Like, I do feel like I'm a guest, but I also do feel like I've done a lot of work and, like, done it for next to nothing, like, just because I was passionate about it. So I don't think that by any means, I don't think it means that I've earned a spot, whatever that would mean. Yeah. But I think that I've earned some respect in it.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I definitely think that, like, you can't say that I've taken advantage of it or, like, tried to manipulate anything, and I definitely have never tried to, like, tell someone what to do with their stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
From Jive No Cap.
Hav.
Yeah, well. Bro, you're black, bro. Why?
It's like Hove.
It's peace in the Middle East, man. He said, do we think we're getting anywhere after this?
I mean, we'll find out.
For real.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, I wish I had more of an answer for that, but it would be speculation.
Yeah. I definitely hope so.
What do you think would be the most beneficial thing for, like, a white person to do in these kind of times? Or not the most, but, like, because a lot of my white friends are like, I want to help, but I don't know what would be helpful and what would be a hindrance. You know what I mean? So what do you think that, like, something from black communities would benefit from, by especially young white people? So I think a lot of young white people are like, I'm down to do whatever I need to do to help. What do you need?
I think the main thing is to show yourself. Really just because listen, whether people realize it or not, black people are very forgiving, and even though we've been through shit, hell and high water, still going through it, it's still on a base situation, and it's based off of who you are as a person. Like I said, I've dealt with racism my whole life, you know what I'm saying, but I work with you like it's nothing. I don't look at you like man, he probably just fucking with me till some shit pop off, and I don't look at you like that. It's just based off of like who you are as a person, and just off of what you showed me. So the best thing that you can really do, even if you want to help, and it's even in a financial state, not you putting money into somebody's pocket, but if you want to help something that's going on or something like that. I don't know exactly how to solve it, you know what I'm saying, but just show us, you know what I'm saying.
Put the effort in.
Yeah, put the effort in, like whatever it is. If for instance, to all you white rappers out there that be rapping and you all in the videos and all that stuff, you should have been at a march. You should have been there. That's my personal opinion. You should have at least been to one of the I don't care if you was in the back chilling. You should have been there at some point. That's showing us that at least that you care enough, and to know that, you know what I'm saying, the industry that you're getting in is a black industry. Rather if there's white CEOs that's cutting the checks or whatever the case is, at the end of the day, this is the only black industry we can claim and claim it's ours. You should have been there to at least identify to say, hey, listen, I'm here with y'all. I'm not in this shit just to get a little quick dollop off of y'all and then I'm Post Malone out of here. That was fire. That was fire.
It's choreographed and everything.
That was... Because I didn't realize that somebody pointed me out what Post Malone did. I did not realize it. Still like your music.
Yeah, Post Malone's he's a whole subject of his own.
Whoa. But just show us that you with us, because man, we deal with so much shit that people don't understand. Even if we explain it to you, you'll never understand. And it's not your job to. It's not your job to understand. The most you can do is just be there. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, if we throw a little barbecue or something, or we throw a little get together Juneteenth, come on, grab your little beer and sit down. Come pull up with us. Come sit and chill. From Phillips, A. Tony, little big homie Tony. He puts, do you understand? No, wait. He said, do we find? Oh, I guess it's for you.
Alright.
Do you find that dreads are threatening?
No, I don't.
Well,
you know what I mean? Do I think that like white people find dreads?
yeah.
Like,
You know what I mean by you.
Yeah. That's racist.
Yeah.
What do you mean you? Like, you know, them? I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, it's like, you know, certain people will generalize a look. Like if you've had bad experiences with people with dreads like multiple times, I think you would start to be scared of a person with dreads.
Yeah.
So I feel like the real question is, if you have dreads, do you feel like people are scared of you? And then if they are, have you given them a reason to? If you haven't and you're still being treated a certain way, then I would narrow down to it not being the dreads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Leave an answer in the comments.
yeah, that's something I'd like to hear from multiple people. I don't think dreads are like intimidating.
Yeah, I think that's like an old stereotype.
Yeah. White people are trying to do dreads nowadays, like more often than I've ever seen it, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Fact. Braids.
I think that mostly depends on how they look, like how clean cut you are as a person. Like if you're a clean cut individual and you got nice dreads, I don't think people are gonna really be worried about it. But if you already look intimidating, like by your demeanor, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk.
Cause listen, I'm black, and some of y'all with dreads scare me. So Malcolm or MLK, Nonviolent or anything means
goes.
necessary. And that's from Lisa Sloan. That's from my mother. Shout you out, mama.
I'm always for the nonviolent myself.
Yeah.
I think that it's like a swift execution. If you can do something non-violently, no one can ever take that away from you. But like if you do something out of violence is usually like
excuse.
Violence is not normally out of control. Like doing something non-violently while you're angry is like total discipline. So if you can keep your wit about you while you're angry, while you're heated up about something, and you can still execute what you're out for, like, I think that everyone will be able to take you more seriously. And then the other thing just kind of seems like a fire that people have to extinguish. You know, so if you do something by any means necessary, your opposition is going to try to stop you by any means necessary.
There you go.
And I'm worried about the outcome of that.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
where
what I
martial
mean?
law and all this
Yep.
other shit start
I'm
coming
not. I don't want to see that kind of thing happen. So.
Yeah. Blue Stacks. Why do white people feel so privileged?
I don't know that white people feel so privileged. I've thought a lot about the word privilege lately too, because you hear a lot about that, like what's it like to have white privilege or this and that. I mean, we got to remember privilege is like when you are privileged with something, it's like a blessing. And I think a lot of us have had more blessings than we'd like to admit, because it would mean that our life was easier, and then we wouldn't look as strong if life was easier.
You think we give the word privilege too much power?
Yeah, like I think it's just like misinterpreted. Like, and I agree that there is such thing as white privilege. I'm definitely not saying that doesn't exist, but I feel like it's more like there's just like privilege is not the word that I would choose, and I'm struggling to figure out which word I would use, but I think there's a little bit of like kind of, I don't want to say disappointment, but a little bit of a frustration when people are like, oh, well, you've never seen this because you've had white privilege. And it's like we all struggle with stuff in different ways. Like, you know, and I might be an anomaly, but me even working in a predominantly black industry, like when I do music videos and I do other just video stuff in general, editing music regardless, I have to go about it a certain way to make sure that I'm, one, being respectful and like not, you know, doing anything to anyone that would frustrate them or to take advantage of the system. I have to take the long way on a lot of stuff, and that's a disadvantage in my opinion, because it's inefficient. So but here's the thing, that is still a privilege that I get to be a part of that industry. Like it is a privilege, like that is a white privilege that someone would respect me regardless of my race, and still let me take part of an art form that I did not create, that I just enjoy experiencing with others and I get to contribute to. And so I certainly like have had experiences, or have had an experience because I've been, you know, very like fair skinned, where I didn't have to deal with stuff that people of a darker complexion would have to deal with. And yes, you could say that's a blessing, but you know, a lot of hardships are what makes us who we are. So really, in another way, it's like the blessing of getting through something is a privilege too. You know, like you said, black people are very forgiving. You know, it takes a lot. You have to forgive a lot of people to be known as a forgiving people.
That's a fact.
You know, white people are not as forgiving. So
that's a fact.
In a general statement.
I got a hot take for you.
Yeah, let me hit it. Let me hear it.
With the past history of white people that you don't have to accept as yours.
Sure.
Do you feel like you have a target on your back just from being white? Not literally like a target, but
Are you
like
talking about me specifically?
Yeah, like not like a target to where like you like I walk in here, I'm white, but like
people are watching me.
Yeah, like to where like people like I don't know.
From who? From both sides?
From black people.
I think that people will be like, you know, what's he doing? Like, you know, like. But honestly, like, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I feel like I gain people's trust pretty quickly. Like, because I put in effort to let them know, hey, I'm not here on any funny business. Like, I'm here, like, I'll do, before business, I'm going to be here and let you know that I'll be your friend. Like, you know, if you need anything and I can help, I'm going to help.
That's a fact. You definitely called me out of nowhere just to check on me.
Yeah. So it's like, because I don't, like, you know, my business partner and I, like, we were very proactive about making sure everyone gets to eat, in a sense, you know, which I think is a common motto nowadays from a lot of very good people. It's just like making sure everyone gets taken care of. And I like to see more of that, and I feel like we are seeing more of that. Yeah. So, yeah, but to have a target on my back, nah. And I feel like I'm pretty good at what I do, like, not even to sound like bogus, but I feel like I put in the work. So even if you didn't like me, we might still have to get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, how do you feel about other black people that compare black on black crime to police brutality? Oh, that's for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is from Damo Montez. So look, it's kind of easy. I'm gonna make it short and sweet as possible. You can't forget.
What?
Was that you whistling?
Yeah.
I was gonna say fucking Candyman over here. I'm like, see, let me get my goddamn shit out the car. So as black people, Elijah wouldn't really fully know or understand the verity of it, but look, man, being black is crazy. It makes us strong because we done been through so much shit. But you can't forget, even being black is scary in itself. There's so many, there's other black people that don't want to see me succeed because I'm black and they're black, literally. Like, so you can't forget, like, with the police brutality shit, like, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely bad. But on the other hand, you still have other black people that would just, listen, the shit go far as back as slavery. Like, it's a mental thing. Like, it's literally it's mental. It's hard to even fully answer it in the correct way. Like, it's just, man, it's different, bro. You just gotta man, ignore that shit, man. If you feel like somebody don't agree with something you saying, ignore that shit. That's the best thing you can do. I see so much bullshit on the internet that I don't respond to. People think I respond to everything. I don't. It's a lot of shit I don't respond to. Literally, it's a lot of stuff I don't respond to. But something like that, I wouldn't even respond to it. You know what I'm saying? If somebody feel like that, if they feel like they want to put that to the same thing, because I know what you're saying. You're saying the thing like, oh, when a black dude kill a black dude, y'all ain't out there marching. That's BS. Don't forget about when they have the candle lights and you see all them people out there that's out there supporting for the same thing. No, they're not marching the street because half of y'all are even too ashamed and too think you too cool for school to even go and march.
Yeah, even a note on that, like, how do you feel about, because I've been to a couple of these marches now myself, and it's predominantly white people there. What do you think is, like, what's the feeling on the you know, black community side of that? You know, because that's been something that even the people organizing some of these protests have noticed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've commented on that or whatnot, but it's like, it is noticeably.
It's very noticeable.
You know what I mean? So what's kind of where's the headspace for that, you think?
I can speak for me personally. On one hand, that shit's dope as fuck.
I think that's awesome.
That shit is.
Yeah.
Imagine you have. It's almost like if there was a us and them, they have been infiltrated. To where now their own people are fighting against them without us even being there. That's like, if you really think, imagine if no black person went to the march, but it was all white people at every single one of these in all 50 states.
Think about Taylorville today.
In Taylorville, they had one, and it was all white people.
And they organized. They even, like, they got their law enforcement. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
they got like their law enforcement, like their city officials agreed to. They were there. It wasn't even like they were like making sure there's no funny business. They were like there in unison, in solidarity.
Yeah. To me personally, that shit.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it made me very exciting to even for people that live in a white world, and what I mean by that is where they are just distant away from us, because we're distant away from them as well. We can't make it like we're distant away from them just as much.
What do you think the percentage of Taylorville is that's black, you know?
Shit, like
2%
or some shit like that. And to see them out there standing up a cause for something that I didn't even go and step out there to.
Yeah.
I didn't drive out to Taylorville, and you know what I'm saying? For even them to do that, I appreciate every last one of y'all that was there. Cause that's dope. And you drawing a line in the sand just to let us know, like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm just pro-black, but listen, I ain't with that shit. I don't think that shit is cool. So, any white person, whatever nationality you is, whatever race you are, I'ma speak for the black community. I appreciate it heavily. Cause how I look at it, if it was all black people at the protest, imagine if there was no white people at that protest. Shit would be getting real iffy. Cause that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
They used to go to a protest, it would be all black people, all white people on one side. But this time it was all white people standing up for us. Which shows that we have allies, and it also shows you that don't think that everybody's white is racist or they have some type of ulterior motive or something like that. Like, so
yeah.
Don't think that, please don't. Lawrence Mason, why do they feel pro-black is anti-white? You can answer, then I'll answer.
Yeah, I don't really know that, like, that question is very assuming, and I don't know that it's entirely accurate.
Lawrence, listen. From black man to black man, bro, go see a therapist. And I'm not even trying to be funny at all, because I can tell by your questions that, bro, you're disturbed. Like,
yeah. Like, even saying, like, why do they feel like this? Like, if I were to say, like, why do they, like, people would be on me. They'd be like, what do you mean they? Like, them people. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you feel like black people that know they've been through a certain type of thing use that shit as a crutch to
some people
pick at white people? Like,
yeah, some people. Like, a lot of people will use adversity that they've overcome. Like, a lot of people have been through stuff that they didn't get to choose. Like, had no, like, think about being a child in an environment where, like, you were, like, I just, literally before I was here, heard a story about someone that was, like, his cousin, like, got jumped by a bunch of, like, pretty much neo-Nazis, like, skinheads, and then they went to, like, I'm not going to tell his whole story, but it's just, like, for no reason, his cousin's getting jumped, like, and not no reason, but just for being black, and that was quite literally the reason. That was it. They didn't know who this was. They just jumped him, and, like, he could use that as a crutch, even though it was terrible, if he was to use it if he were, like, in every situation, he was just like, if he then assumed that every white person ever was bad and said, well, I've been jumped by a bunch of white people, they're all racist, like, it's very unfortunate that happened, and it could be a crutch, or it could be that thing that solidified how he felt about changing the whole entire environment as a whole, and it could be a blessing or a curse, you know? So... And then even to answer the question that his name's Lawrence, correct? Yeah. You know, why do they feel that, what is it,
if you're pro-black, you're anti-white.
Yeah, I think that's like, that is a very extreme version of a situation that does exist, but is not as common as it used to be. Yeah. I think there's a lot of growth. There's no perfection here, and there never will be, but yeah, I don't think you don't have to be both, you know, like, you don't have to be, and you don't have to be, and you can be, like, there's so much room for the individual there, so, but yeah, that's a very, it gets into a deep conversation just on that question.
I got a question. This is from Reggie Wynn Jr.
I think I know this one already.
How has white privilege benefited you the most in your life?
Yeah, it's tough to just pick one thing. It's a long list. It is, like, you know, it's a long list. Like, I've benefited in more ways than I'll ever understand. Yeah. You know, there's so many things that I've taken for granted that I've never even realized are white privilege. And I'm saying that not even knowing what those things are still, and that I might not ever know. I've benefited from, you know, a whole system not assuming things about me from the start. Like, I've gotten to do things, like, I've gotten to do things, and people have never questioned my motives. And I feel like that sums up most of white privilege, is you have a privilege to do as you please, and no one's questioning you.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like that inherently is, like, as an intrinsic answer, that is, like, the most beneficial thing I could do, because that's half the battle sometimes, is convincing someone of what you want to do.
Based off of skin color.
Based off of, like something you literally cannot change. Yeah. Someone be like, I don't, like, and they never will say that's the reason, and that's why it's, like, that's why it's such a disadvantage. Like, that's a disadvantage of being black, like, is people will automatically assume, and certain people will automatically assume that you have a different motive than they're willing to comprehend, and they're wrong. Like, more often than not, they're wrong about it. So, yeah, I mean, the white privilege is, like, getting to do things that you want to do without people, you know, being nosy, bothering you, like. You know, and then on top of that, people will start helping you for no reason. They'll be like, you know what I mean? So on top of just getting to do what you want to do, you know, you'll get people that are like, oh, do you need money for that? Like, you know, like, do you know, oh, I know this person, I can connect you with that. Like, that happens. But I think that that's dissipating. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think that there's also now people that, and I also think that there's there's a lot of black money now that didn't used to exist. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, black people are making money.
They're making moves.
Why y'all think they're trying to get the KKK to get back so big? They never in their life thought that black people would be making the amount of money that they are making. Listen, I'm a business owner. I'm not on link. I don't got no government assistance. They can't come to my house and say, hey, we pay all your rent. He's not supposed to be here. They can't do that shit in my household. They never wanted that shit to happen. Ever in life. So don't forget, at the same time as y'all think that just because we went through, our ancestors went through so much stuff that it's still the same. Don't get me wrong, it's still the same, but it's a lot of growth. Black women are making money at a crazy fucking rate. Crazy. Black men are, you go to Atlanta? Oh my God. If y'all just go to Atlanta for a weekend, y'all would change your mind about thinking that they don't think that you're broke. They're just wondering how you got the money. You know how many times people probably look at me when I pay for groceries with cash and like, got 20s and 10s, probably a drug dealer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But if I want to be ignorant, I can. What the fuck is you trying to racially profile me? What the fuck is you?
Right.
Like I told you with the whole link shit. When I went to the line, the lady was like, "Link? No, cash, motherfucker. No link. I would love to buy some if that was legal. But I'm adult enough to learn how to hold your composure. That shit hurts them when they try to throw little jabs at you and you don't jump at it. Because they want you to jump at it. They want you to be ignorant.
They do.
They want you to fucking...
They always want you to swing first.
Yes, they
want
you to do that shit. They want you to. They got their finger right on the button. I wish he says something. I'll press his button. That's what they want.
Yeah. I got 2 quick questions for you. Well, they might not be quick, but what percentage of racism do you think comes from black culture itself or black people itself in general?
Comes from it?
Yeah, how much black on black racism is there?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think it's like this. I think it's to be honest, it's like the same percentage as white on black crime, or maybe even more. And I'll say even
I don't even want to like get into crime and whatnot, but
I mean crime, but I mean
like say put a white person and a black person like in 2 different scenarios. You got a white person walking down the street and there's a black person coming, and then they want to cross the street. How many times, like, do you think that same scenario puts the same fear in another black, like, kid's eyes?
Yeah.
That prejudice, I should really say. Like,
it is.
Are you assuming that, like, that black person that you see is up to no good? Like, that vendetta.
It is.
That
it
racism.
Is. It is.
Because that's racism, is assuming something like that.
It's even the little things like when you pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight, and another a black dude pull up, y'all looking all in each other's cars and looking at each other like, motherfucker, fuck is you looking at? Y'all do that shit. We all do that shit. I don't do that shit because I don't like staring at men in their eyes anyway.
Yeah. And then the question is, like, is that even racist, or is that you just like being like, what are you up to?
It's
because if a white dude pulls up on me and he's just looking suspicious, like, for whatever reason, I'm gonna be like, all right, what's going on? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
It's not. I don't even think that's a race thing for me at that point.
I think that shit really is just that self-hatred shit. It's really and that's the deep shit. That's the deep shit that people don't talk about. That self-hatred, that's a real thing. Literally, somebody will see you getting money, and automatically in their mind they already plotting on how to fuck up your money. Like, y'all crazy if y'all think since I've been an engineer and I've been all in the limelight that no black person has been behind a door trying to close a door on me. That is a fact. Not only white people have done that shit too. But since this is a black industry, there's more black people trying to close doors on me because I didn't want to run by what they want me to run by. They want to pay me a certain amount to keep me in hold. That shit, don't think that is just a white and black thing. It's not. what I'm saying? That's why some people say that shit. This shit starts with us as well, because it does. Instead of other black people trying to put other black people on, they want to fuck them over and take all their money so they can say, I finessed you. That's that self-hatred. That's the shit that people don't talk about. It ain't always just a white person trying to get in your pockets. It's niggas too. It's black people do the same shit to each other that they say white people do to them. But then point out the white person like, look at him. No, look at your mans. Look at this dude trying to get into your pockets. Like,
and I'm just now thinking of this, but like, you know, how often or at all do black people use racism as a crutch?
A lot, and it's so lame. I don't even like.
And then as a secondary question, because you can answer both of these, why do you think white people are racist to begin with?
So
you can answer those in any order.
That's fire.
You know what I mean?
What was the first question again?
Do black people use racism as a crutch?
Not all the time, because I was always told don't use the word always. It's bad to use unless you're for certain.
8 minutes, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Just because they know, so they try to, like, literally somebody can say, hey ma'am, can I check your stuff at Walmart? Hey, can I check your stuff? What you trying to say? What, because I'm black? She checked all the white people, everybody. It's because motherfuckers been stealing. It ain't got nothing to do with you being black. It don't always have to. Don't get me wrong, there is when they do, but it's not always.
Yeah.
And then what was the second question?
Why do you think white people are racist?
I think they're racist because
the ones that are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For the ones that are, I think they're scared.
Racist.
I think they're scared. I think they're so scared that they're gonna learn how good some black people are, that they're scared they're gonna be friends with them because of the shit that they learn. And that's just like a religion too. That's just like a religion to me. Like, racism is a religion. Like, it's just like church.
It's like tradition.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, imagine somebody walk up to you and say, hey, your God isn't real. What the fuck you mean? Yes, he is. And then motherfuckers say, well, explain to me. I can't explain to you, but he is. If somebody walked up to a racist dude and say, hey, you know that black dude? He's a good dude. No, the fuck he not. Why is he? I mean, shit, because you have no fucking answer. So I think it's just a fear thing of something they was taught. That shit isn't something you got a fucking birth defect that you just look at black people. No, that shit's taught. That's just taught in households, and sometimes it's taught in households without even knowing that it's being taught, just because of the way that they were taught. It's a whole chain of things. And then my final question, to you.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes, so.
When you're with your white friends and they say wild shit, or they might blurt out some shit not knowing that it is racist, do you defend?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of fall back and?
No, I like, and no one will ever know unless they're with me. You know, like, I could say whatever I want right now.
Yeah.
But no, like, I think that the best way you can get someone to believe you is to convince them that they knew it all along. Because if you're like arguing with someone, like, how many arguments have you ever been in with someone, and then they're like, you know what, you are right. Now that I think about it, like, that might have happened before, but like,
it's slim.
It's 1 out of 100. You know what I mean? Usually people end up angry. So I try to, especially because I have friends and family that will say stuff that's racist and they don't even know it's racist. That's usually what I run into. I don't think I have one friend that, like, and if I do, he's not my friend anymore. You know what I mean? If I knew he was being racist on purpose, I'm like, all right, you out. Not even because it's like, just on principle. Like, if you know me in person, you know I'm a very principled person. I've dropped, like, stuff that's been considered a very big deal just because of the principle of, like, the nature of what happened. You know, regardless of money, circumstance, like, the whole thing. Like, you know, it's I won't, if you can't sleep at night, like, being content with who you are, then it's just like, what a terrible life. So yeah, I mean, I definitely have been in situations with friends where and a lot of them do look at me like, you know, why you? Like, why do you get to be a part of this culture?
Do they look at you like the cool kid?
No, they just, like, they don't understand why. Because I grew up, honestly, most of my friends since I've been very young have been black. Like, like, some of my best friends have always been black. And I don't think that's because I gravitated towards skin color. I think it's because I gravitated towards certain personalities.
And you don't act different either when you get when
Yeah,
you get
try
around. You
not
don't
to.
start saying.
I'm not
slang
like
and
talking
shit.
in a different
No,
slang, like,
no.
you know, I mean, there might be little things, because it's like, you know, if you, like, and I mean, I lived overseas, I'm not going to get into all that, but it's like, even my accent changed when I'm around other people.
Yeah.
You know, when you spend time with certain people, your accent changes. Like,
Mhm.
you don't, I'm sure you don't talk to your grandma the same way you talk
Hell
to me.
no.
You know
Hell
what I
no.
mean? Like,
Hell no.
it's just, that's how it goes. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely will say something if someone's out of line, and that's on anything. That's
Yeah.
not on just racism. That's on, like, if you're talking bad about anyone,
Yeah.
and whether it's, and I don't even like getting into politics, this and that. I just believe in people. Like, I want to see people thrive. I want to see
Same here.
people eat
Same.
and do what they love, and I need to see that out of good intention and love for one another, because that's what and I am a very, like, religious person in a lot of ways, and I just believe in that. Like, I believe in doing for others, you know, in the same way that you would want them to do unto you. Like, I do believe in that wholeheartedly, and even if you never get the thing in return, it's worth it. Like, I believe that that's worth it, and but yeah, I've definitely, and I've been in situations with friends where we didn't even see eye to eye after the conversation, and it's not that I don't, and it's because I think they don't believe that the thing they did was racist,
Mhm.
and that's the issue. Is a
Yeah.
lot of people they don't believe what they're saying is even racist to begin with, and that goes into the systemic situation of, like, we're birthing cultures that don't understand the reality of the situation.
Mhm.
So, does that answer that question?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. The only piece of advice I can give before we shut off and cut down, just love people. Don't worry about color and race and all that. All that shit doesn't fucking matter. I've had Arabian friends. I even had a friend that was an atheist. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Have friends that's good for you. If that person they don't step out of line with who you are, then let that shit rock. You know what I'm saying? So go get you some more friends and get you some white friends that don't wear tennis shoes. If they wear tennis shoes, you stop being friends with them and we're out.